What is happening, sports fans? I'm back. It's your man Matt from the DFS 5-pack, rocking it solo. It is Thursday, October 7th. Appreciate big ups to Ryan for getting out the football showdown videos and content on that stuff. Told him I was going to cover some MLB today because we actually have two games and a nice slate for DK. So, again, it's playoff baseball. All these teams are good, so there aren't quite as many edges as there are in the regular season. And there's only two games, but it's still fun to talk about. And speaking of talking about, for some reason, I'm unable to pull up DraftKings on my computer and build a lineup. When I get to the contest, it's just not showing up. The players aren't showing up, so I can't screen share. I can obviously do it through my app, so I'm looking at that, and I've been looking at that. So I'm just going to really talk this out with you guys. It's going to be short and sweet. Again, only two games, playoff baseball, good pitchers on the hill, but good offenses also. So from where I stand, I'm going to break this up and kind of talk about it each, game by game. We've got Lance McCullers and the Astros hosting Lance Lynn and the White Sox. I think that before I even start, all the pitchers and all the offenses get love. You're not getting any of these pitchers or any of these offenses at very low ownership. They're all good, both from each pitcher to each offense. There's merit to using any side on this entire slate. That said, there are going to be edges because some teams will be higher than others. That's just a given. So we want to exploit those edges. It looks like right now, the two, and again, all these offenses are very close in ownership, but the two picking up the most are Houston and Boston. And I get that. Price tags play a part in that. First off, Houston's just really good. People are gravitating, as far as pitchers go, to Lance McCullers. And the other guy that's getting a ton of love they're all getting love. Eduardo Rodriguez and McClanahan are each getting about the same. And then Lance Lynn seems to be getting the least. So from that alone, it makes me want to take a shot on Lance Lynn on the White Sox offense. Again, not a great spot on paper. You're kind of grasping at straws here because a lot of these spots aren't very good because all the pitchers are good, all the offenses are good. That said, there's still upside from both sides. So I think McCullers, in a good spot at home, very affordable AK. Pricing isn't really an issue on this slate. I feel like he's going to be the most popular pitcher on the slate, though. So I am interested in some White Sox bats. Their lineup is legit. I don't think anyone needs to, needs me to go over the White Sox lineup. But coming in a little bit lesser owned than the other offenses on this slate just makes me like them more. As far as Lance Lynn versus McCullers, who I think is better, I think at this point McCullers probably has slightly better stuff, but I trust Lance Lynn a lot more. I think these offenses are similar. Houston's more proven, probably a little bit deeper, but the White Sox are no slouches themselves. I mean, you go from Tim Anderson, Luis Robert, Jose Abreu, Yasmani Grandal, Eloy Jimenez. This lineup is legit. So no stroll in the park for McCullers here. Like I said, you can make a realistic, very reasonable argument for McCullers. He's at home. As good as the White Sox offense is, so is the Astros, so is the Rays, or the Red Sox. So, again, like I mentioned before, you're grasping at straws a little bit. I'm kind of keen on the White Sox bats in tournaments and also using Lance Lynn. Again, really tough spot on paper. Houston's good, but that's all over this slate. And Lynn's also a very good pitcher himself, coming in with the least amount of ownership as any pitcher on this slate. I like that a lot. Does it mean I'm definitely going to use him? No, because there's also two pitchers in the other game, and I also like the Houston offense. As far as the other game goes, Eduardo Rodriguez against Shane McClanahan, two very good pitchers. McClanahan had a better year than Erod this year, but not by leaps and bounds. I think these guys are similar pitchers. Another one where I think McClanahan probably has slightly better stuff, but I don't know if I want to. I don't trust Erod more. So I trust McClanahan just as much, if not more, than Erod. Erod's never really a guy I trust. So this is one for me where, again, ownership kind of dictates it as well. But I'm more interested in McClanahan and the Rays bats than I am Erod and the Red Sox bats. Looks like the Red Sox and Erod are getting a little bit more love than McClanahan and the Rays. And I like the Rays and McClanahan more. Ownership aside, I like them more. I like the Rays in this game. I think they're just a better team. That doesn't really matter for one game of baseball, but the Rays, even though the Red Sox look really good beating the Yankees, I have the Rays as a nice favorite in this series. They're just a much better team. The Red Sox just use their best pitcher, or I don't want to say Eovaldi's their best pitcher now over Sale, but there's a reason they used him in that game. So, they don't have him on the hill. Yeah, I think for me, if I'm building one lineup right now and it sucks I can't screen share, I'm going McClanahan, Lynn, and using offenses from the White Sox and the Rays. The offenses you use are kind of dictated by the pitchers you use because there's only 4 offenses, only 4 pitchers. The two you don't really want to use an offense against your pitcher. So those are the other 2 offenses that are left are who you're going to use. That said, I do think it makes a lot of sense to use a bat or 2 or even 3 against your pitcher. We've seen a lot of these pitchers get pulled early. Now, it's game 1 of the playoffs, so we might not see that here because it's not like win or go home like we've seen the past couple games. But that said, if any of these guys are struggling, they're not going to have like that long of a leash. I mean, it's playoff baseball. We know how that goes. So, like I said, let's say I use Lynn and McClanahan. I have no issue using a Xander Bogaerts there, using a Jose Altuve if I can get there. Or whatever it is, using a mini stack and hoping they go off against the bullpen. That kind of stuff is what wins tournaments on slates like this. Not just playoff slates, but 2-game slates in general. And it's even more compounded when we have these playoff slates because, like I said, every side that you look at, whether it's the Rays, Erod, the Red Sox, McClanahan, go on the list, they all have upside. They're all in the playoffs for a reason. There's a reason all these pitchers are starting game 1 for their respective teams, and there's a reason these offenses are still there. So, again, you can make a reasonable argument for any team, any pitcher you want here. Ownership is pretty split. So I'm not, only using Lynn and the White Sox because of ownership, because it's very close. That said, if I'm splitting hairs, I'll definitely go with a lower owned team. And I have a feeling Houston and McCullers are just much higher owned than White Sox and Lynn. It's just a gut feel. I think people are comfortable about the Astros at home. And, the other game is probably more split down the middle. I do think ownership, again, going to be very split. Projections say that. We'll see if one team kind of takes off as far as that goes. But right now it's looking like it's pretty split. So in cash games, I think you can kind of use whoever you want. Maybe focus most on the Astros and Red Sox using Erod and McCullers. I think you could also look at McClanahan and McCullers and use the Rays and the Astros. I do think Lynn and the White Sox is more for tournaments. That's what ownership is telling me, and I'll go with that. The White Sox are, I believe, a nice dog in this game. Hold on. Yeah, they're, not a huge dog. Astros are a 132 favorite. I like the White Sox in this game. I think the White Sox are going way underrated right now. I think they win this series. I might place a little wager on that. I think Lance Lynn balls here, and I think the White Sox go off. I don't want to say go off, but I think they're the top offense of the day. So they're going to be the offense if I were making one lineup that I'd prioritize. Again, I'm only a tournament player, so take that for what you will. Again, I just wanted to get on here and make something for you guys. I know a bunch of people have been asking me about MLB videos. I love MLB. It's my favorite. I'd make them 5 times a day if I could. The slates that they've been offering, though, for these 2-day contests have been pathetic. Not even really worth my time. With NFL going on, my favorite LOL going on. So I'm happy we got a 2-game slate today. Let's crush it. If you want more content, more videos, any of that stuff, go check out the DFS 5-pack. I'm around if you got questions and stuff. I'll always answer you as soon as I see them. Appreciate you guys as always. Let's crush it going into the weekend. And thanks again. See y'all soon.